Hey you guys, I wanted to pop on and do a little bit of an explanation for some of the things that you're going to see in learning array number 4. I'll start at just pop to the table of contents, but down at the very bottom of this learning array, you have something called lesson plan and logistical information. So let's just kind of go into that. What Dr. Galt and I tried to do was go in and set things up so that you kind of had an idea of what was coming up, what things look like, how your lessons that you were already creating fit into things. So the first thing we have here is the lesson plan and unit overview. We've mentioned a couple of times that you have to have a total of 10 lessons by the time the semester is over, since it's 2 courses. You can either choose to do that in 2 5-lesson units, or you can choose to do it as 10 lessons that are comprehensive. By comprehensive, obviously every lesson that you create is going to have more than 2 STEM components in it. And we also know it's going to have some ELA in it. There's a lot of variety in what's going to have to exist in that just because of the requirements for your schools. But for the science course, science would be the focus. For math, math would be the focus. So if we go and look at this, we put it in here as a PDF so that hopefully that's easier for you to view. But we've also gone in and explained the whole 2 5-lesson. And lesson doesn't have to be one day. It doesn't have to be a full day. It can be 2 days. It can be, 20, whatever is necessary to get across what you were trying to do in that particular lesson. Obviously, it needs to be a well thought out approach, but the time it takes you to do that in your classroom, that's up to you. We're not requiring it being 5 days, 10 days, however long it needs to be. The one thing that we are requesting is that each of the lessons you create needs to be at least 80% your own. We know you're probably going to forge some ideas from different places, but as you create that, be diligent about making it yours. So this is kind of an outline of where we're seeing these lessons being developed. You've already created an outline for your current event lesson. That was done in LA2. You're going to be working on engineering design process, and this is in LA5. You're going to teach that lesson. So in your syllabus, in the syllabi, I believe it mentioned that you had to teach 2 different lessons and videotape it in your classroom. One of those will be math and one will be science. So engineering design process created in LA5. Then I'm asking that you create a single lesson on Henrietta Lacks. You may decide to do a whole unit on that, the concepts that you come up with in that. But we're requiring 1 in this for the science. You started in LA6. This may be what you choose to teach in LA8. You'll see this as we go further along. And then the 4th lesson that you're creating as part of these learning arrays is utilizing the context and delivery that you read about in array number 3, the place-based, project-based, community problem, that whole 9 yards. You'll start that in LA7, and that may be what you choose to teach in LA8. Just depends on the approach you take. And then the final one that we're giving you a structure for is the math book. So a lot of you have already decided, actually all of you have decided on the book that you're going to read. That was the additional book. You're not going to start talking about it in your groups until, I think, LA6 maybe. When we suggest a lesson plan, most of these are an outline. We don't always want the full-on lesson plan. When we do, it's for this engineering design process, which is going to be in LA5, and Henrietta, which is going to be in LA6. These other 5 are your choosing. So kind of scroll down here, you can see pink is the science concept, blue is the math concept, and then green can be either. You may have created a lesson, for example, back here in the current event, that you think would be perfect if you just went in and tweaked it a little bit that you could use that as a 5, like the beginning of a 5 lesson unit. That may be what you do. You don't have to use it as you turned it in the first time. Okay? I hope that makes that work a little bit better. And I'm going to record another video for you in just a minute on what that unit plan is going to look like. And as Rebecca and I talked about, we thought it was important to keep this in here. Work smarter, not harder. Think about what you want to accomplish this semester and make sure you're structuring your lessons around that. At least one of your lesson has to discuss the context that we looked at. At least one of them has to address different delivery. You might want to create something that's project based if you're, I think some groups said the upper level would be project based. You decide how you want to structure it, but be very smart about that. Be intentional.